These sporting greats call this bit of paradise home. Navratilova, Celis, Arias, Bollettieri, and Mr. Basketball himself, love you baby, Dick Vitale. Hi tennis fans, the Kaz here with you. Yes, we're in Sarasota 4. The Robredi presents the Ziva Sarasota Open. Stay with us for the exciting action. Situated in one of the tennis capitals of the world, Robredi presents the Ziva Sarasota Open, played at the beautiful tennis gardens at the Longboat Key Club and Resort. Now in year number 5, has become one of the premier stops on the USTA Pro Circuit and ATP Challenger schedule. Continuing to grow and promote professional tennis in Sarasota, Tournament Director Tony Driscoll has added women's professional tennis to the week's agenda with the Sarasota Open Ladies Invitational. The Sarasota Open again attracted the who's who of American men competing on the USTA Pro Circuit. Former world number 4 James Blake, Michael Russell, Jesse Levin, Ryan Sweeting, Bobby Reynolds, Tim Smychek, Robbie Ginepri, Dennis Kudla, Wayne Odesnik, and former ATP 17th ranked Sam Querrey. The weekend's Final Four was established, but Italian Paolo Lorenzi upset defending champion and number 1 seed James Blake 3-2 Friday night. With the semifinal Saturday forecast of early afternoon heavy storms, South African-born Florida resident Wayne Odesnik took the court to oppose Lorenzi in a repeat of last week's matchup at the U.S. Men's Clay Court Championship in Houston, where Lorenzi prevailed in 3 sets. This encounter looked as if the Italian were headed to a straight sets victory, capturing the first set 6-2 with an array of heavy topspin forehands and tricky underspin backhands. But quickly the momentum was headed in the former career-high 77 Odesnik's direction as the Sunshine State dweller was about to close out the second set and tie up the match when strong winds and heavy rains invaded the tennis gardens at the Longboat Key Club and Resort, producing a 5-hour rain delay. Upon returning to Gettle Stadium Court, the 26-year-old Odesnik, who holds a win over former world number 8 Guillermo Cañas, now his mentor, quickly seized the second set 6-3 with a number of explosive forehands. However, the crafty Italian, with his well-disguised drop shots, cashed in to prevail 6-2, 3-6, 6-3. Big win last night against James Blake. How tough was it to get yourself back up for another tough match today?
Yeah, I think that yesterday I was playing my best match. Yesterday night I was feeling the ball really good, and I think I was playing an unbelievable match. Also because James he was posting me to the limits. I was playing my best tennis for beat him. And today I knew that against Wayne was another tough match because I won last week in Houston 16 in the third again. So I don't know, I was ready for fight. Then I was a little bit lucky at the end, and I think I'm really happy to be in the final in Sarasota.
Almost a 5-hour rain delay. What was that like? What was going through your mind? How did you prepare yourself for coming back?
But the last time I stopped the match for the rain, and I was trying to think all the time about the match, and I lost. This time I called 2-3 friends in Italy. We were talking about
They may have been asleep. It's 7 hours difference over there.
Yeah, but I woke up them, and we was talking everything but not tennis. And that I think was the good things, because I was not thinking about the match, so I was fresh in the third set.
Well, I feel like I'm still, in the middle of my career. I think my best tennis is still ahead of me. I'm only 26 years old, and as you see now, players are playing their best tennis well into their late 20s, early 30s. So, I think I'm definitely on the right track. I'm at the end of the day, I'm healthy, I'm playing great, so I got to look at the bright side of things.
In an All-American nightcap semifinal, Tour vet 33-year-old Michael Russell was locking horns with 24-year-old Davis Cupper Sam Querrey. Vegas resident Querrey disclosed his prodigious serve that holds the ATP record of 10 consecutive service aces. fired a myriad of untouchables against Ironman Mike to capture the first set 6-3. The 5'8" Houston occupant, holder of 22 USTA Pro Circuit titles, quickly was getting a read on the big quarry serve and answered back with some point-winning statements of his own to grab the second set 6-3. Now it was a battle of the puncher versus the counter-puncher as the final set was up for grabs. Big Sam added some patience to his power game to prevail 6-3, 3-6, 6-3 over Russell, who recorded some impressive 2012 wins over world number 13 Gail Monfils and number 9 Marty Fish.
5 wins this season so far over players in the top 20, top 30. Where do you think your game is right now?
It's getting better every day. With every win, I'm gaining more confidence, and I'm looking to get back in the top 20.
How good are you at time management? You had a 5-hour delay with the rain, setting the match back at least 5 hours when you thought it was going to begin. How did you handle that? What did you do?
I played at 8 o'clock every week, every day this week, so that's been a little easier for me. But I stayed in the lounge and watched Good Will Hunting. I'd never seen it.
That is a beautiful film.
I'd never seen it, so I needed to check it out.
I see an acting career for you. Maybe the small screen, but you're out there with Tennis Express. You're looking like a professor. You're looking like a psychologist. How much are you enjoying that, and how do you express yourself in that venue, Michael?
I have fun with that. That's great. I mean, anytime I can be on camera and, I don't know, I feel like I'm myself usually. So, yeah, small screen, big screen, who knows?
It's all ahead of you. I see 5, maybe 10 more years inside this top 100. So
perfect. 10. That's a
10
goal.
Years, that's
that would
good.
be 44.
And then you're ready for Social Security and retirement.
Right out of the tour, right to Social Security. It's
there
perfect.
You go. You can join me. Thanks for your time today.
Thanks, guys.
With midnight approaching, a semifinal men's doubles match finished the Saturday evening slate of matches with Johan Brandstein of Sweden and South African Isak Vandermeer taking out Odesnik and Russian Tamaris Tabishvili 6-3, 6-2.
Well, the reason we brought the tournament here is we want to be good neighbors. First of all, we love the game of tennis. We want to be good neighbors to the town. It brings in a lot of traffic to the resort, to other hotels here in the town. It brings an international flair to the town. As you know, Siesta Key here in the town is the #1 beach in the country right now. The tennis is amazing. I mean, you have Nick Bollettieri over at IMG in Bradenton. You have our club that is one of the top 10 in the nation now, according to Tennis Magazine.
And congrats on that, John.
Thank you. Obviously, according to us also. So it really is. It's just a great tennis town.
Georgie Gordon, you served our country. Now you are serving the Sarasota Open. How did you get involved with it, Georgie?
Well, sir, I've been doing this now for 4 years, and I'm retired law enforcement and also military. And Tony Driscoll needed volunteers, and so I stepped up to the plate and we recruited some members. And Gordy is one of my best friends and also a fellow veteran.
He was your captain at one point, is that correct?
Oh, he is my captain still.
Captain Gordy, what are you enjoying most about this week of tennis out here?
I think it's just meeting and greeting the people.
Ken, tennis is in your blood. The Tennis Channel is in your blood. You can't get away from it.
That's correct. I started playing tennis when I was 45 at a little older age. Enjoyed it so much. A friend of mine, Steve Bellamy and David Meister, approached us on creating the cable tennis channel, and myself and a bunch of other young guys invested. We've been investors since 2000, and we're having a ball. And Sarasota is a great place to play tennis, and this is a great tournament, and we're loving every minute of it.
You are the most fastidious clay court keeper out there. I saw you with a small bottle of water just irrigating in certain areas. What was that all about?
Yes. Well, we were on Stadium Court, and the players beat up the court pretty much. There's heavy play in that baseline area as well. And I needed to do a little bit of patching in the area and do it fast.
Providing a promising clear day with a pleasantly cool breeze in the air. The final day of the Sarasota Open commenced with men's doubles as previous night's showman, First-timer teammates Bronstorm and Vandermeer went on to entertain the crowd again with some world-class double shot making to capture the crown and $6,200 in prize money. Upending top-seeded team German Martin Emmerich and Andreas Silverstrom of Sweden, 6-4, 6-1.
In the old days, you know, Butch Buckles and I and Barry McKay, we used to sit up and we used to say, you know, guys, one day there'll be a tournament for $100,000. And some of the other pros that we were playing with at the time, such as Lou Hode and even Rod Laver, said, nah, you guys are crazy. It won't be $100,000. Well, I think we underestimated the whole thing, because obviously now we've got Grand Slams that are at $15 and $16 million tournaments, and we've got players making $2 million by winning one Grand Slam tournament. I was with Rod Laver a couple of weeks ago in Indian Wells, and he told me that for the 4 Grand Slams that he won as an amateur in the same year, he got a voucher for $100 for the 4 of them.
He was an amateur at the time, is that right?
Amateur at the time. We weren't allowed to, as an amateur, you weren't allowed to accept money. And then, of course, you know, when he turned professional, he was out of the game, and he was banned for about 21 Grand Slam tournaments. So it's a different situation today.
Indeed it is. When you're in Newport, who is going to make you the proudest to see them looking in the audience and applauding when your name's called?
Oh, I don't know.
There are dozens of them, Mike.
There's a lot of people. I'm very grateful to. Butch Buckles is certainly one of them, my old-time friends. And Tony Trabert was a great friend of mine and an all-time great. And there's been so many people that have helped me over my time. You know, you don't do it by yourself, none of this. You're just fortunate to be in the right place at the right time.
But it's amazing. They crush it. Absolutely crush it. So it's very fun. It's very exciting. It makes me want to go play better.
Well, I think it's a great event for the community. Everybody's supporting it real well, and just been some great tennis beyond what I was thinking.
Dave, this is great. This is a great event. We get top-class players coming to Sarasota, our little town, and you watch them, and you just hope you can do a fraction of what they can do on the court when you're out there, you know, playing your weekend tennis. So you can always learn something.
And now it was time for the showcase event of the week, the men's singles final. At 6'6", Sam Querrey was going to test his recently acquired clay court experience against European dirtball specialist, 6 foot even, Paolo Lorenzi. Querrey, whose stratagem was to be aggressive, moving inside the baseline to pounce on any Lorenzi short ball, followed his game plan to perfection, dominating the first set 6-1. Lorenzi, who was going to follow his father and brother into medicine, started serving more effectively and evinced the soft hands of the surgeon with some rhythm-breaking touch shots to capture the second set in a tiebreak. But Querrey reinstated his first set strategy and took a 4-love lead before fighting off the Italian's comeback, prevailing 6-1, 6-7, 6-3. to walk away with the $14,400 winner's check.
You know, anytime you can get 5 wins in a row, it's a good thing, and no matter what level it is, I'll be feeling really good and confident for Rome in a few weeks.
New coach in your corner.
Yeah, Philip Farmer's helping me right now, and it's been great. We've been together for 4 or 5 weeks, and I feel like I'm playing well. He's a positive guy, and so far we're off to a good start.
Taking the big bottle to Isner's house tonight, I understand?
I think so, yeah. He lives down the street, so we might bunk up there tonight.
I heard a lot of people saying today, I hope this guy comes back to Sarasota when he starts practicing medicine.
I'm sure that next year I will be here because I love this city, and for sure we'll come back, and I will be doctor when I will finish play tennis.
We're here with our premier portfolio company, Ziva, and we couldn't be more proud of being a part of this today. You know, in the design business, it's all about the experience. And today, watching all this tennis, actually all week long, it's been about the experience of tennis, and it has just been phenomenal here at this venue today.
You've been turned on. Every time I talk to you, you say, I'm ready to go out there and work on my game, and these guys will do it for you. And the women, too.
Oh, yeah. I can't wait to watch the women's final here in a moment, but I've been away from playing tennis for a little while, but I have never been more motivated than I am now, watching these guys out here on a world-class level.
Robin, when it's time to celebrate, you know how to celebrate with Iron Horse. Longboat Key Club knows how to celebrate. This is a big baby in your hands right here, my friend.
It certainly is. This is Iron Horse Wedding Cuvée 2007, and Premier Beverage Company and Iron Horse are very proud sponsors of this great event, and it's been a spectacular event. What a wonderful week we have here.
Champagne, tennis, nice mix.
Yeah, champagne and tennis, yep, and some strawberries later perhaps. But genuinely, this has been a wonderful success, and we look forward to this event growing in the community. It's been superb, totally superb.
And now the stage was set to close the curtain on the final match of the Robretti presents the Ziva Sarasota Open, as Tour Trooper American Alexandra Stevenson facing circuit youngster Canadian Gabriela Dabrowski in the 10,000 Women's Invitation. Stevenson, former Wimbledon semifinalist, 2 weeks after high school graduation, showed her tour experience controlling early on, but allowed Dombrowski, former ITF number 5 junior in the world, to win the opening set 6-4. The multi-stage and print talented Stevenson fought back to even the set score at 1-all. However, it was the third set that provided the most thrills of the evening, as Dabrowski dealing with an ankle problem and Stevenson trying to close out this Saturday rescheduled match. Finally, with a smile and relief, it was the veteran who closed the winning door. 4-6, 6-4, 7-5.
Gabby, you lost a tough one. Didn't win this one, but you won a lot of fans here in Sarasota. What does that mean after a match like this? They all say you're the most courageous player they've seen around for a while.
Well, it means
I know
a
you're
lot.
disappointed at putting that match away, but
I know,
you came back like a warrior.
Yeah, but I mean, as players, we always appreciate playing in front of a supportive crowd. Even though I'm not from the States, like, it was still nice in my heart to feel that people are still pulling for me. I just hope I can come back next year when this is hopefully an ITF USTA run event. So I'm excited.
You were 5 in the world. You won the Orange Bowl. The transition from top junior in the world to the pro events. Everything you thought it would be, and then some?
Well, I always knew it would be very difficult. I mean, I started some professional tournaments when I was young, when I was 15, 16, so I had an idea of how difficult it was. But it's definitely a lot more challenging physically. In the juniors, you can kind of get away with not doing that much fitness or playing, you know, maybe not at your best tennis all the time, but once you hit the professional levels, everyone is good and everyone is hungry to win. So the mindset going into a match is definitely with, you know, full concentration, and they're not going to give you anything. So
Alexandra, this one did not come easily. You had the first set. You know that.
Yes.
You let it get away. You had to come back in the second. You had the dogfight in the third. How did you dig? From where did you get the strength to dig out that tough stuff?
All my hard training. I trained really hard with Peter Park and Eric Goodman on my fitness, and that's really paid off because clay is not my best surface. When I was in the top 20 and top 100 for 5 straight years, I played a warm-up tournament in the French, and that was the most I ever played on clay.
You're in the anomaly. One of the few still left out there with a one-handed backhand.
Yes.
What does that personally mean to you? Any pride that you take from that?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a great one-hander. Not too many people have it, but Federer has one, so I can have one. Scavone has a nice one. There's a couple of us left, and you know, it's a really hard stroke to teach, and not a lot of people are teaching it now because the two-hander's easier. And when you see a one-hander, you know you put a lot of work into it over the years.
Amen. I attest to that. You've seen it all. You've been everywhere on every network. And you've written for the New York Times.
Yes.
You were interviewed by Barbara Walters, one of the few tennis professionals to be interviewed by her.
Yes.
What was it like? What did you come out of that knowing about Barbara Walters that you didn't know before?
Well, she's a legend. She's amazing, and it was just really fun to see her in action. And you know, my mom was a reporter and a writer, and she she came up when Barbara had already come up, so they weren't really college.
Vintage?
Yeah, but you know, they had a lot in common, and it was just nice actually to see my mom and Barbara interact, because it was two women in a journalistic view and way of putting things, and you know, there's not a lot of women journalists. Nowadays there's a little more, but back then there weren't, and she was just really interesting to talk to, and she's definitely the best interviewer, and she never made me cry, so
That was my question coming up. Close to making you cry?
No, I told her she wasn't going to make me cry. She made my mom cry, but I didn't cry.
Tears of joy.
Yes, tears of joy.
Mick Huber, you have covered tennis here in Sarasota almost 4 decades, approaching for 35, 37 years, from Celis to Bollettieri to Arias to Haas. What do you enjoy most about covering the beach here in Sarasota?
I mean, because there's so much tennis and so much great tennis. Like you said, you've seen people like Andre Agassi and Monica Seles and Maria Sharapova from the start, you know, from when they were just little tykes, and then you've got this tournament here that has grown rapidly in the time it's been here. I mean, look at it; it looks like an ATP event.
Tony, you run major tournaments these days in tennis, but it doesn't stop there. You're doing triathlons at the same level. You're downtown Sarasota, involved with high tech, with communications, with Wi-Fi and things that the outside world doesn't even know about.
Well, we have a full-time sales staff, so it certainly helps that they have things to sell during the course of the year, other than the tennis. Tennis being one of the bigger ones as far as dollar amounts. But we learn what the sponsors like by doing other events. We learn from the marketing what works. All the digital is the way to go these days, so you have to be in it. So it's a learning curve, but I think we do it pretty well.
Great community support here in Sarasota. Great sponsorship. How does the community, how does the sponsorship get involved? They're terrific.
Well, it's second to none. I mean, this is a big tennis town, as you know. We've got IMG here, and a lot of the top pros live within 20 miles of here. So it's kind of a hometown tournament for them. They can sleep in their own bed at night. And the sponsor base knows that, appreciates that, and they've really supported us throughout the years.
You've got your dad here working with you, but he's working around the clock baking brownies, all different flavors. That's a major draw for the staff.
I think that brings back half the attendance every year. So, and the staff, we never have problems with volunteers coming back, because we have probably the best brownies in Southwest Florida. So.
I will attest to that, along with my waistline. Tony, as always, great to see you. Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you.
Tennis fans, we hope that you enjoyed our coverage of Robetti Presents the Ziva Sarasota Open. Plan to be with us again. But until then, remember, in tennis scoring, love means nothing, but love of the game means everything. Keep alive your love of the game. Love you, tennis fans, and we'll see you again soon.